Electric cars are transforming the world of automobile manufacturing, and it's something I'm sure many of us have witnessed. But it's not just about replacing the combustion engine with a battery. Electric vehicles, so-called EVs, replace the entire internal combustion drivetrain with an electric system, including motors, battery packs, and advanced software. These battery electric vehicles, or BEVs, aren't just a new type of car. They come with unique features like instant torque, regenerative braking, and over-the-air software updates. Their disruptive nature is reshaping the industry, challenging traditional automakers to adapt or risk being left behind. In this Capitalism Lab session, we will explore how electric cars are driving this transformation and what it means for the automobile industry. Traditional automobile manufacturers are facing challenges in the transition to electric vehicles. Just recently, global players and suppliers have announced layoffs as they restructure to adapt to the new landscape. For example, one of Europe's largest automakers has announced plans to cut tens of thousands of jobs, referring to the shift to electric vehicles and automation, which requires fewer workers than traditional combustion engine production, as well as referring to their shrinking numbers of cars sold. Similarly, major suppliers have revealed plans to reduce their workforce by thousands of employees due to changing market demands and increased digitalization. This transformation is having a disruptive impact on well-established companies, forcing them to rethink their business models to remain competitive in an evolving industry. At the same time, new cars and car makers are entering the automobile market and capturing significant attention. For example, in 2023, an electric car became the best-selling car globally, surpassing a long dominant model with an internal combustion engine. This success doesn't appear to be a one-time event. Even in 2024, electric cars remain among the top-selling vehicles worldwide. Meanwhile, entirely new brands have rapidly grown their market presence. One of them, for instance, has risen to become one of the top 3 best-selling car brands globally, with nearly half of their vehicle sales being battery electric vehicles. The shift from traditional combustion engine technology to electric vehicles has disrupted the market, enabling new models and brands to emerge and capture substantial market share, as evidenced by the success of certain electric car models and the innovative newcomers. So, in sum, what are the observations that highlight this disruptive change in the automobile industry? What are the reasons that entirely new brands have emerged and grown rapidly, challenging the dominance of long-established players? These market dynamics, driven by electric vehicles, have not been seen in the auto industry for decades, where high barriers to entry historically protected incumbents from new competitors. In my view, 2 critical factors have allowed this change: the lowering of traditional barriers to market entry and a shift in customer preferences towards new utilities offered by EVs. Barriers to entry refer to structural or strategic obstacles that make it difficult for new companies to enter an industry. For example, high capital requirements for building factories, economies of scale enjoyed by established players, and strong brand loyalty have historically kept new automakers out of the market. However, the rise of EVs and advancements in battery and software technologies seem to reduce some of these barriers. New entrants have leveraged these shifts to compete effectively, offering products that appeal to changing customer preferences for sustainability, advanced technology, and cost efficiency. This transformation demonstrates how changing consumer priorities and industry conditions can change even the most well-established markets. The original barriers to entry in the automobile industry were established by traditional manufacturers and their extensive supplier ecosystems. Let's examine a few key points. Traditional automakers have long benefited from economies of scale, relying on a global network of suppliers to produce most of their components. On average, these manufacturers outsource around 80% of components to suppliers, focusing primarily on the powertrain production and final assembly. This approach has allowed them to maintain efficiency and cost effectiveness. In contrast, some rapidly growing EV companies have adopted a vertically integrated strategy, which appears to offer a significant competitive advantage. Unlike traditional automakers, they produce and develop many of their key components in-house, including batteries, the most valuable part of an EV, and software. This approach to battery production, such as co-locating manufacturing facilities with assembly plants, reduces costs. According to studies, batteries are approximately 15% less expensive than the industry average with this approach. This vertical integration transition to electric vehicles begin purchasing batteries. Even as traditional automakers transition to electric vehicles and begin purchasing batteries and software from suppliers, they face challenges in matching the cost and innovation advantages achieved by companies with integrated supply chains. Traditional car makers have long relied on extensive dealership networks to distribute their vehicles and provide after-sales services like maintenance, repairs, and inspections. These networks have been a cornerstone of their success, offering customers convenience and accessibility. However, the emergence of e-commerce and direct-to-consumer models has impacted this approach. New entrants have bypassed franchise dealerships entirely, selling cars directly to consumers via their websites and company-owned stores. This strategy reduces costs and ensures greater control over the customer experience. Other new EV brands are also rethinking distribution models, focusing on efficiency and independence in supply chains. They develop their own logistics networks and optimize global shipping and are exploring similar innovations. Traditional car makers are beginning to adapt, but responses vary. There is no clear picture yet. Some have started transitioning to also other distribution models. This shift reflects an evolving industry dynamic, where traditional players are re-evaluating their distribution strategies to remain competitive in the digital age. Traditional automakers have built incredibly strong and recognizable brands through decades of advertising and marketing, earning customer trust and loyalty. Their market position has been reinforced by these brand values, making it challenging for new entrants to gain traction in a market dominated by such well-established players. How can a new manufacturer build trust when customers have relied on these brands for generations? The answer lies in offering a truly revolutionary product by fundamentally changing the nature of the car. Through electric powertrains, advanced software, and sustainability-focused innovation, electric vehicle manufacturers have managed to capture customer attention despite the visibility of traditional brands. Companies have excelled in this area, leveraging technology to differentiate themselves. However, in my personal view, building customer loyalty, where customers return for repeat purchases, remains a long-term challenge for new entrants. Loyalty will only become evident over the coming years as these brands mature and prove their reliability. In conclusion, the traditional barriers to market entry such as brand strength and customer loyalty appear to be weakening in the face of EV advancement. The advent of electric vehicles has shifted the competitive landscape, with factors like advanced technology now playing a more critical role. Some EV manufacturers have successfully leveraged these advantages, effectively competing with combustion engine-based products and redefining the industry's competitive dynamics. As mentioned earlier, electric cars have a completely different drivetrain. They are highly efficient and do not require many components found in internal combustion engine vehicles, such as a clutch, catalytic converters, an alternator, filters, or spark plugs. This reduction in complexity also results in fewer maintenance cycles and lower maintenance costs, an appealing argument for customers to make the switch to EVs. While traditional automakers focused on their hardware, new market players have successfully identified and made use of a key proposition of their new generation of cars: software development. While legacy car manufacturers excel in hardware engineering, they have historically relied on a distributed architecture where components, each with their own chips and firmware, are sourced from multiple suppliers. This fragmentation has made it difficult to create cohesive and integrated software systems. In contrast, EV pioneers have designed centralized hardware architectures, enabling them to deliver holistic and seamless software experiences. This approach allows advanced features such as over-the-air updates, enhanced entertainment, and connectivity options, and the potential for autonomous driving, all of which significantly enhance customer value and utility. Electric car manufacturers have redefined customer expectations by integrating software deeply into the car's functionality, eliminating the need for dealership visits for updates and consistently adding new features through over-the-air updates. These advancements have shifted customer preferences among certain groups toward electric cars. Traditional automakers, while historically focused on product features such as engine power, sound, and efficiency, find these attributes less relevant in the EV era, where customers prioritize sustainability, software, and convenience. It appears that for certain segments of the market, EVs are at least getting close to the point of indifference, where the perceived utility of electric cars equals or exceeds that of combustion engine vehicles. This shift marks a pivotal moment in the automobile industry's transformation. It should also be noted that some established brands recognize the potential of alternative drivetrains long before the EV revolution gained momentum. For instance, one of the biggest automakers introduced the world's first mass-produced hybrid vehicle in 1997, setting the stage of hybrid technology to become a key part of the industry. However, not all automakers adapted to electric vehicle trends at the same pace. Some brands were slower to transition to fully electric models. One of the largest automobile manufacturers globally only launched its first dedicated electric vehicle on its own dedicated electric car platform in 2019. Although the company had earlier electric offerings, it seems EVs arrived later than that of new entrants who had already gained a foothold in the market. Traditional car manufacturers have faced challenges as a result of this later transition, including the need to restructure their operations and reduce their workforce. Yet, they also invested heavily in electrification, including the development of their own platforms and plans for large-scale battery production. Those companies' journeys underscore the immense pressures and opportunities presented by the industry's shift towards electric mobility. Ultimately, the automobile industry's future remains open to interpretation. Will legacy automakers successfully leverage their scale and resources to compete with new players? Or will they struggle to keep pace with the rapidly changing market dynamics? That question, perhaps, is best left to you to consider. In today's Capitalism Lab session, we will take on the challenge faced by many traditional automakers. transforming a company that primarily sells combustion engine vehicles into one that also offers competitive electric cars. Electric cars have just been introduced in Capitalism Lab with the new version 11, which, as of January, still is in an open beta phase. The game reflects several real-world dynamics of this transformation. For instance, the shift from traditional internal combustion engines to batteries as the core component is mirrored in the game mechanics. Additionally, the difference in vertical integration between traditional and electric car manufacturers is also represented. While traditional car makers could rely on suppliers for most components and focus mainly on the final assembly, electric car makers must develop the technology for critical components, particularly batteries, in-house. We will also pay attention to a new key raw material, lithium, essential for battery production. Managing this resource will be crucial to our strategy as we navigate the challenges of building a competitive electric vehicle business in Capitalism Lab. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Light Proton channel to stay updated on new content, and feel free to share this video with anyone who might enjoy it. Now, let's start the game. Here we are in the main menu of the game. We are still playing version 11 open beta, which is with the current version 11.035, which can be downloaded from the Capitalism forum. We will start a new game, a custom game, and load a script, which I prepared for our session today, the Big Switch Electrifying a Carmaker script. We will choose, as always, the corporate color, which is easy to identify on the map, and call our corporation the Light Proton Corporation. And here we are in the scenario. We have the 1st of January 2005. This is relevant for electric cars. I will come to this in a minute. We have 500 million of capital, which is definitely needed to build up a car maker. And we set a few goals for ourselves. We might reach those goals in this session, we might not. We will see where we advance in the scenario. This scenario consists of 4 cities: Hanover, Austin, Osaka, and Shenzhen, all of them in different places scattered over the world. The population is medium-sized. It's around 1.1 up to 2.4 million inhabitants in a city. Before we start to actually set up factories or R&D centers and so on, I always recommend to first check for 2 things. One is, in the corporate details view, the brand strategy. And I would, again, as we usually do this, recommend the range brand strategy. This creates some helpful synergies, while one product class with all the different product types shares the same brand. We only need to invest into advertisement and brand awareness once. And secondly, I also recommend to always check in the expertise section of yourself if there are any open remaining knowledge points available to be distributed among the business expertise. And actually, in this scenario, we have 90 knowledge points open. Already 90 have been attributed to the product class expertise automobile. This will help us a lot as this speeds up R&D in the automobile product class. But since we are not only doing R&D on automobile, but also on input products, semi-products, we will assign the other 90 points completely to research and development so that we also speed up this R&D. And therefore, we should be very fast in innovation and research and development. Another option to accelerate research and development, by the way, would be to hire a CTO with a high R&D rating. We will now move on to look into the manufacturer's guide and check the automobile product class. By the way, in this scenario, all product classes are disabled except for the automobile product class. And we see here now in version 11 that there's a new product type available. Besides car and motorcycle, which we know from previous versions, there's now the electric car. And the interesting part of the electric car is it needs to be invented first. The normal traditional car and the motorcycle can be produced right away, the technology is known, and even if a competitor offers all of the input products on the market, we can do the final assembly and sell the car. For the electric car, this is different and reflects also what we see in our real world economies. The electric car first needs to be invented by us. The electric car technology is available from 2005 onwards. That's why we started the scenario in 2005, so we can directly start to invent the car. However, another thing is that it has dependencies. Before we can actually do R&D and invent the technology for electric cars, we need to have the know-how of electric car chassis. The electric car chassis also need to be invented, also available from year 2005, and again has dependencies on electric car battery and electric motor, which also needs to be invented first. For example, here the electric motor. This means that if a corporation wants to assemble an electric car, it also needs to have the technology for the input products. And if you once invest into the technology and into R&D of that, you will also produce it in the same companies. This means we will have a vertically integrated company. So this is what we exactly will do. We want to sell electric cars at the later stage of the scenario. So we will first start to invest into R&D for the electric car battery and the electric motor in parallel. Afterwards, we will move on the electric car chassis. And when this is done, we will invest into R&D of the electric car. And then finally, after those steps in the research pipeline, then we are able to produce and sell the electric car. Let's start with electric car battery and electric motor. Both are semi-products. This means different product class actually. To find the right talents with the highest skill, we will first establish a headquarter for our firm. Let's think of where to establish it. We will, for our scenario, first start in the city of Hanover and build up production and retail and so on. However, we might also choose other cities. For example, an interesting other starting point could be Shenzhen, which has a higher population and a lower real wage rate. This means that the running costs of factories and companies, firms and so on are lower. But for us, for today, we will start with Hanover. Let's build the headquarters finally. We will set it up here. We will create and set up all of the departments. So at the later stage, we can actually use them, whatever purpose we need them. And for this scenario, I also activated the digital age DLC. This means we have the full talent system activated. However, to focus on car making, I did not allow in this scenario that any software firms or telecom firms or other firms emerge and corporations like that are actually set up by the AI. Instead, all the corporations will be the traditional ones producing something, selling something without making use of the digital age DLC products. Now let's look and view talents. Go into the product cast of semi-products and check in which city we have the highest skilled team leads. This seems to be in Osaka. We will move on to Osaka, set up an R&D center here. We'll use this layout and hire talents for semi-products, hire all of the most skilled ones, and invest into R&D of a new product. In this case, this will be the electric car battery. This will take a little bit more than half a year. If we would not have so many expertise points in R&D and the later on needed automobile product class expertise, then this would take longer. Yeah, so having expertise points in R&D, and later when we do R&D on the electric car, those expertise points help us to accelerate R&D. Yeah, this is done. We will also activate a new function. This is automated loyalty targeting, so that we don't have to check this each time. Yeah, instead we will let the Capitalism Lab application itself manage that the target loyalty is always around 75 and increase. This means increasing the salary from time to time. A higher loyalty means that our team leads will not resign for the jobs, and headhunting for our competitors of our team leads will be more difficult. Electric car battery is the one part, and the electric motor is the other one. We will go back to Hannover, to our headquarters, view talents, semi products, and check for talents. Yeah, I think Austin is good. Let's go to Austin and open an R&D center. Hire all, R&D new product, electric motor. Takes a little bit longer because the skill level is not as high as we found it in Osaka. However, still not more, a little bit more than half a year, not even 1 year. And more we cannot do. This means we will now invent the technologies of electric motor and electric car battery. Afterwards, electric car chassis is activated. And after this, the electric car can be invented. Meanwhile, while all of this happens, we will set up the traditional car making. Yeah, with the normal car and a normal motorcycle. We will return back to Hanover and just start to set it up here. We have, according to how I set up this scenario in Hanover, we find a seaport offering what is required for car making, for traditional cars. We need a lot of steel. We need for the car body also plastic and glass. We need rubber for the wheels and tires. Therefore, this will help us a lot. It's always a good idea, especially when we deal with bulky goods, and the car is a bulky good, to think of the distances between transporting different materials, products from one production to the next production and then later to the retail store. A good rule of thumb is to find a location or an area to set up production which is close to the CBD, so close to where our retail stores will be, and close to the next seaport. Because for sure, usually for such complex products as a car, it means that we need to import products or export products to other cities. We will look into the details of that later. So that's why now we will start to set up the production. Let's go to, first we will do the car. And what we need first of all a car body. A car body is made of glass, plastic and steel, all available via seaport, so easy. We will produce it in our main corporation, as the car body is a key element of our car. Yeah, it attributes for 30% of the overall quality of the product of the car, and also, by the way, is needed for the electric car. So a very important component of our product. Therefore, we will produce it ourselves in our main corporation. We'll need a factory. Let's set it up here. We have 3 input products, so we choose a layout with 3 manufacturing units, 4 purchasing units, 2 sales units. Interlink them like that. We need a lot of steel. We will take this from the seaport in Hanover. We need plastic, also from the seaport, and glass. There's our first car body. We will reduce the price we ask for from this factory and always set to internal sale. This is a default setting which can be changed in the game options so that it's not sold to a competitor who can make use of our later on technology and our high quality products. This car body is stored in a warehouse, which we will set up here. There it is. And here it is available. Also reduce the price so that we have the flexibility of handling the margin in the later stage of supply chain in the retail store. And we are not interested so much in making profits from production as we have internal sale activated. As we produce a car body and it has a high impact on the quality of our product, of course, we will also invest into R&D. So again, we go into the headquarters, go to the semi-product category and find the location with skilled candidates to do research on car bodies. Osaka or Hannover. Let's this time take Hannover. So we will stay here, set up an R&D center. Choose this layout. You can always check from time to time whether we can headhunt someone. This is not the case at the moment. Our competitors, AI is not so active on 3rd of January yet. We will not invest in the R&D of a new product instead of a known product. That's the car body. And we will invest 1 year of R&D. 6 months would be a faster result. However, for 1 year, we have a higher expected tech advancement. I think it's a good balance between higher tech advancement at the same time not waiting too long until the technology improves. This is the car body. Then next is the engine. The engine is only made of steel. So we will close to this factory, set up another factory. Let's put it here to produce an engine. Engine only needs steel, therefore we will choose this layout with 5 manufacturing units, 2 sales units, and 2 purchasing units. Link them like that. Purchase steel, again from the seaport. And now the first engines have been produced. We will reduce the price and store them first in a warehouse. At a later stage, when we scale up production because we are selling more than which can be produced within one factory. The warehouse helps us, to distribute to our next steps in our supply chain. Input storage as a buffer and output. This is the engine. We will again reduce. And now we have the engine. Let's go back to the manufacturer's guide. And we see here that we also need wheel and tire. What about wheel and tires? Wheel and tire only account for 10% of the quality of the end product. This is the case for the car, and this is also the case for the electric car. Therefore, it's not one of the critical components and not one of the components where it's important that we do it by ourselves. So in this case, we will do it like the real world economy car manufacturers do it with such components. They will leave it to a subsidiary to produce it and procure it from a supplier, which in our case will be a subsidiary, but from a supplier, and procure it from a supplier. And this is what we will do. We will set up a subsidiary which acts as a supplier and will produce wheel and tire and sell it to us and even to competitors, who are also interested in the wheels and tires. Actually, this is one of our goals, to have one subsidiary with at least an annual revenue of 300 million. I think it's a good idea to do this, for instance, for wheel and tires, and we will find another option very soon, where the subsidiary acting as supplier will help us. Wheel and tire. Wheel and tire means producing wheel and tire out of rubber and steel, which is also available in the seaport in Hannover. So first of all, before we set up the subsidiary, let's also set up R&D for the engine. Again, it's a semi-product. View talents, Hannover. Let's go to Osaka. Go to Osaka, set up an R&D center. Choose this layout. Let's check whether we can hit on someone. This is not the case. Hire all, start R&D, engine, again, 1 year. Good. Now return back to Hannover. And now we will set up a subsidiary, as we also have, besides the Digital Age DLC, we also have activated the subsidiary DLC. And this means we can set up a subsidiary. This is a financial action. We can set up a new subsidiary company. We will choose another logo, this one. We will call our main corporation is called Light Proton. So for sure, the only thing which makes sense, our subsidiary will be called Dark Proton. We will inject a lot of money into this company, as this will be very soon needed. 200 million will be transferred from our main corporation bank account to the bank account of our subsidiary. We need to hire a CEO. What will our subsidiary do? It will definitely manufacture a lot. It will do mining for raw materials, probably. And, very interesting aspect here, it will also do farming, as we need rubber. For now, we can simply import this with a seaport, but at a later stage, with improving vertical integration, we would do it by ourselves in our own farm. Farming is also relevant. Manufacturing is probably most important expertise, so that's why we look for someone with a high expertise in manufacturing, but also farming would help, and even raw material production. Why is farming so important? Farming works a little bit different than manufacturing and raw material production in terms of quality. For manufacturing, the quality is determined by the production technology, which you gain with R&D. Raw material is simply the quality of the raw material in the reserve. But for farming, it's the experience of the farm units in the firm. And the experience of the farm units in the firm is higher from the start, the higher the expertise in farming by the manager. This means, especially for rubber, this is again a competitive advantage. Yeah, that's why we will choose and ask Danica to join our subsidiary as an CEO. We will disable all activities of the CEO because we will be fully in control of it. Yeah, so that the funding is really used for what we need it for, and the CEO does not come with their own ideas for now. Yeah, we will work with full backward integration. We will disable all product classes. We will not allow to change supplies or anything in retail stores. Never change internal sale. And disable all financial options. Yeah, I think this is a very restrictive setup, but will help us to have the maximum of control. We will also, for our subsidiary Dark Proton, set up headquarters. With all the departments. And now we will establish for Dark Proton production of wheel and tires. I think probably here's a good area to set it up. I think we will need a little bit of space. It's made of 2 input materials, so we choose a layout with 4 purchasing units, 4 manufacturing units as well as one sales unit. Link it like that. And now what we need is rubber from the seaport again, here and here. And we need steel, again from the seaport. For a car, we need a lot of steel. And this gives us already a hint that it might make sense to also produce steel by ourselves, not in the main corporation, but in the subsidiary. Here we have our full wheels and tires. We will again set up a warehouse for Dark Proton, of course. Distribute wheel and tires from there. This time we will let the pricing be decided by the CEO, as we will allow also that our CEO sells it not only internally, but also to other corporations, competitors also, because we believe that it's worth the extra profits and extra revenue, as well as it does not give a competitive advantage, too much of a competitive advantage to our competitors, as this has a rather lower impact on the overall product quality and overall product rating. Wheel and tire. Of course, when we produce wheel and tire, we want to improve the production technology. We will look for the talents, again in the semi-products category. Again, Osaka has a couple of Hannover's good. Osaka or let's go to Osaka again. Set up this time for Dark Proton an R&D center. Here. Let's see whether we can, no headhunting possible. Hire all, start R&D. Wheel and tires should be at the end of the list. Here it is. And 1 year, that's it. Okay, good. Now, we know that wheel and tires are made of rubber, and rubber coming from farms. Let's check in the farmer's guide for the rubber plant, for the sowing month and the harvesting month. So we must remember that before May, we set up a farm for the subsidiary, so that in February next year, in year 2006 of the scenario, we have our own rubber which we can use to produce wheel and tires, and we don't have to buy it from the seaports anymore. But before we do that, we will now further complete our steps to produce our first car and sell it actually. So the manufacturer's guide, we see now that for the car we have everything provided by warehouses, and we can now assemble the car in another factory. And this factory we will put here, this time for Light Proton, for the final assembly. It's made of 3 input materials, or input products, so to say. This means we choose this layout, link everything so it makes sense. A car needs obviously 4 wheels. It needs 1 car body and 1 engine. And this makes our first car. Let's check whether we set up. Yeah, I think this is good. This is also good. Let's reduce the price. So the costs of producing this car, including the input materials, is 5,000. We'll sell it for 6,000 to a warehouse. Car. Here it is. And also here we will reduce the price so that most of the margin is handled in the retail store. So the cost for a car for us internally is $7,100 now. And this car we will distribute to a retail store, to an automobile outlet in the city of Hanover. Let's check where to set it up. We will find a location which has the most customer traffic. 39, 49. This seems to be a good location, but it's far away from the 51. This is good. This one, 36, 51. Let's choose this one. We will set up. First, we will start slow. Yeah, 1 purchasing unit, 3 sales units, and 1 advertisement unit. And this is, again, this is new in version 11 compared to version 10 and the previous versions. We have a different layout in our retail stores. The purchasing unit has now by 50% increased speed of working. This means that instead, in the past, handling 2 sales units, it can now handle 3 sales units, which actually is very nice, as we need less purchasing units and we have more sales units in a retail store. And at the same time, we can more efficiently make use of this layout. Yeah, the same can be replicated here below. And then we have a very efficient layout. Good improvement. We will purchase the car and sell it in our sales units. And now, because it needs a lot of micromanagement to establish a brand and to manage the price, especially in the beginning when a product gains in quality, gains in brand awareness, and the overall rating is changing all the time, we will also employ a COO and a CMO to handle this micromanagement, and we will more look into the strategies and in the supply chain, not so much handle all the small things around retail stores. So we will go to our headquarters. First, hire a CMO, someone with a high marketing expertise for sure. We'll hire Kim as Chief Marketing Officer. Target brand is like this. Highest target brand rating. So it is a key differentiating category of our product. This is what usually also automakers do. Yeah, they invest a lot into their brand with TV commercials and so on. And we also will hire a COO to take care of our pricing in the retail stores. We will choose one with a high rating in retailing. Now we can take Leah, Chief Marketing Officer. No, this was wrong. This was wrong. Chief Operating Officer. We will ask for a not balanced, but a little bit more optimization in direction of maximizing the market share instead of maximizing the profit margin. This ensures that we grow fast and also hopefully protects us against other competitors who will soon emerge into the market. Also for the COO, we will be very restrictive. Not allow a lot of things to be done. We will go now, and this is an important step which needs to be done, otherwise it does not work. The CMO will automatically take care of the advertisement units, but the COO will only get active if the COO is actually the manager. And we will assign Leah the job to manage every new retail store and every current retail store. This is the case now. And she will soon change the pricing from 17K to something else to make the overall rating better and improved compared to the city average rating, and therefore sell some cars. Yeah. This will probably still take a while until she really does it. It's not happening yet, so let's do it manually, and later on she will do it. Yeah, this works. Okay, good. Now we have the first cars are being sold. We can take care of also other things. We still don't have April, so we will not set the rubber plant farm yet for our subsidiary. But what we could do is to also produce motorcycles, as motorcycles have the same, need this similar, yeah, a different combination, but already existing in our corporation input products so that we can assemble a motorcycle. So we will set up motorcycle production probably here for light proton factory. It's also made of 3 input products. We need wheels, of course. We need steel. And an angle. And this makes a motorcycle. Here it is. Also set up a warehouse. Input, storage, output. Here it is. Reduce again the price. We produce motorcycles and cars, and of course we also want to improve the technology of both. So therefore we will set up R&D firms, centers, to improve the technology. This time it's automobile. Osaka is good. We first go to Osaka, set up a research center. Here, taking this layout. No headhunting possible. Hire all. Start R&D, car, 1 year. And we see now that we have a very high tech advancement within 1 year of 144. This is due to the 2 effects, one from automobile product class expertise and the other coming from R&D expertise. This brings us a very high, very fast tech advancement very soon. This is good for relaxed gameplay. If you want a more challenging scenario, then for sure you should consider to set a lower level of expertise for your own CEO. We can also see here that this auto setting up of the target loyalty of 75 applies to all new R&D centers. This is for the car. Now we will return back to Hannover and find talents for the second R&D center to improve the production technology for motorcycles. We will go to Austin and set it up there. Hire all. Start R&D, motorcycle, 1 year. Great. This works for us. Return back to Hannover. Now we set up R&D. Motorcycles are being produced. Let's sell the motorcycles in our automobile outlet. Now Leas even further reduced the pricing to reach a better overall rating of 38 and accelerate our growth. Also with motorcycles, we will have a slow start, only 1 purchasing unit and 3 sales units. Here the motorcycle has arrived. And we have an overall rating of 21 with this lower price than is the average, and therefore soon we should grow our market share. Right, that's good. What can we further improve? If we look into the manufacturer's guide and for instance into the car body, we see that the car body is made of a lot of steel compared to plastic and glass and steel has a significant quality impact, whereas plastic and glass does not have it. So it makes sense to produce steel by ourselves because we need a lot of steel, so we can earn revenue with it through our subsidiary, and we can better influence the quality. For steel production, as steel is also a bulky good, it's good to produce it close to where we need it. This also means that we will put the steel production, set it up here in Hannover. Steel needs coal and iron ore, obviously. Coal and iron ore are raw materials, also have a significant quality impact on steel, so therefore we will look for a reserve within high quality and we will look for it in all the cities. We will accept, for the sake of having higher quality raw material, we will accept that it may be transported for a longer distance, which actually obviously causes some freight costs. However, it's more important for us to have a high quality product in the end, so therefore we will look for the best reserves. Let's first find coal. We find coal here with quality 63 and here 2 sites, 72 in Hannover. $66, $54, $74. In Shenzhen, even $74. So let's take this one. Let's check whether we have enough funding in Dark Proton. Yes, our subsidiary has it. Natural resource firm, mine. On top of that, 7 mining units, 2 sales units. Link everything. So here's our coal. We will allow this also to be sold to other corporations. It's not a key differentiating product for our cars in the end. Now we also need iron ore. Iron ore seems to be more challenging. No iron ore in Hannover at all. I don't see iron ore in Austin. There's one site in Osaka with quality 61 and one in Shenzhen with 68. So we will establish also the iron ore mine in the city Shenzhen. Again, natural resource firm, mine, 7 mining units, sales units. We will allow this to be sold also to competitors. For now, yeah, as we don't need so much, we're just starting with our production. Go back to Hanover, and we decided to set up steel production here. We will now set it up really close to the seaport so that it does not need to be transported much from the seaport to the factory. In Dark Proton, the factory. Set it up here. To input raw materials as inputs. Link that. Coal. All cities. Here also coal. This one iron ore. Also iron ore. And here's our steel. We will establish a warehouse to retrieve it, store it, and then distribute it to all of the factories. Okay. Not from the seaport, from our own factory. Here it is. And now we can link to this. First, we will do this for the car body and all other factories part of the Light Proton main corporation. We will go to link. And here in this overview, we can compare a little bit the different options. We can procure steel from the seaport for a price of 0.75 and a quality of 48, or we take it from our own factory, our own warehouse, with a price of 1.07, so significantly more expensive, but also a higher quality. And actually, the margin behind this is earned by our subsidiary and adds up to the revenue of our subsidiary. We will batch switch the supplier for all of the corporations in Light Proton, and not to forget, in Dark Proton we also use steel for our wheels and tires. Therefore, we will do a batch switching also for Dark Proton, and that's it. So now we are working with our own steel, and this should have a direct impact on, of course, higher price of the car body, but also higher quality. It's already increasing. We see it here. Yeah, the quality is now between, yeah, it will be 40 now. Yeah, better than before of our car body. Again, 2 points in one of our components improved just by vertical integration. Now let's check how well we sell our cars and motorcycles. Our cars are selling very well. We can add more sales units. We see here with the bottom brownish bar that the capacity is almost fully utilized already, but still the demand is much higher than the supply. So this means we can add more sales units. For the motorcycle, I think we are still growing our sales. We have one layout for selling cars on one floor. We'll choose this one. And grow. Now we are in April, yeah, and we remember that in April month we want to set up a farm to with a rubber plant, with a lot of rubber plants, so that we can produce our own rubber for the wheels and tires. We need to think where to set it up. We can do this just in Hannover as we are here already, or we can do something to optimize our cost structure. We can also do this in Shenzhen with a lower real wage rate. However, this means transporting rubber. Let's do it. Let's move on to Shenzhen. We will look for a location close to a seaport, so that it's a very short distance to the next seaport, and from the seaport it's then transported via cargo ships to our other cities where we need it. Setup for dark proton, farm, large one, right here. Crop growing. And we need to remember that in February 2006, it's available, harvested and available, and we can use the rubber in our production. Grow a crop, rubber plant. Yes, this way. And we see here waiting for sowing season, sowing in May. Good. Return back to Hannover and check our supply chain. Engine is fine. Our body is fine. Still has a very high demand, but this is clear from the start. Just started production. Car works, wheel and tire works, motorcycle works. Yeah, let's see how this works, how this continues. Yeah, it's selling well. Our market share increases and keeps on increasing. As our brand rating also is improving with advertisement, now 26. We have a higher overall rating and the price can be improved so that we earn more by selling cars. We see here that we still can sell more cars and probably more motorcycles. What we can do is we can establish again this kind of layout. It's here selling cars and here selling motorcycles with those units. And we see that the demand for cars is higher than what we can produce. Let's fix that. By the way, just as a side note, if a product has a high demand and the supply is not sufficient, this can hurt our brand rating. That's why it's not only because we want to sell more, it's important to scale production capacity. At the same time, it also helps us to maintain the brand rating. We have still some cars in storage, so another output unit should help already resolve it. However, I'm sure that another car factory does not hurt. So let's duplicate this firm, set it up here right next to the warehouse, production, and link it into the warehouse. Car. This one. Good. Motorcycle is still fine. Everything's still fine. Let's return back to our retail store and observe. Like this. We are now in May. I think nothing to be done. Before emerging into other cities, we will still stay in Hannover and try to strengthen our position. Yeah, set up our supply chain, fix all of the issues we find. we still have room to sell more cars. Yeah? We will set up another automobile outlet. This is in general a good idea because in Capitalism Lab there's a retail chain bonus. This means if from our specialty stores, an automobile outlet is obviously a specialty store of a specific store type, the more we have in a city with high customer traffic, the higher the retail demand bonus. This means selling even more, which is good. Yeah, therefore, setting up more stores of the same time helps us to improve the retail demand bonus rating. It's 1 star now, and I think we can get the 2nd star by simply setting up another one. Polite Proton, a retail store, automobile outlet. We need to find a good place. Probably not right next to the one we have already. 30. 54. We'll choose this one. And again, set up the same structure for now. First cars. Here we see also the freight costs. Yeah, it is a new window which was just added in the version 11. And here we can investigate the details, a breakdown of the freight costs. Obviously, this car is produced in Hanover, so we only have a direct link between supplier and buyer, yeah, warehouse to retail store. And even if it's in the same city, already the costs of transporting the car is more than $500, very high. It's accounting for more than 7% of the overall price of the car. This is a very high value, and this is clear, right? A car is not like a lightweight product like a smartphone. Now, a car is a bulky good, and a car needs to be handled with care, very carefully, because a customer would not accept a car to have scratches or any optical damages. Yeah, therefore it needs to be protected very well, and transporting a car is very expensive. In contrast, transporting raw materials is not as expensive, as raw materials can be just put on a cargo ship. You don't need to take care of a lot of things and can be shipped all over the oceans. Therefore, we will later on, when we look to grow in another city, we will also analyze this, and this will have an impact on how we set up supply chains. For small products like smartphones or notebooks, this would not be such of a big topic. However, for bulky goods like cars, this is a big topic. Motorcycles. Here we are, also selling them. Great. Now we already have 2 stars in the retail demand bonus. What we see is that for cars, we can still meet the demand with our supply, but for motorcycles, yeah, let's see. Let's see. For steel, we might need another steel factory. At the moment, it's fine. What we can do is we can link another output. Yeah, for now it works. The setup is good. It's very efficient. Not so much excess capacity in production. And almost the entire market is captured already. Good. I think we can leave it like that for now. And we can now consider to also sell our cars and motorcycles in another city. So we started with Hanover, and now we can decide to go to a second city. why not move on with Austin? Austin is interesting because Austin has a high population, so a huge market, and a similar wage rate. Also interesting could be Osaka, with also almost having 2 million of population and a very high real wage rate, means higher prices. We can sell our products at a higher price. And this is what we will do. We will go to Osaka. Here we are. And in Osaka, we will do as first step a very, very simple thing, just to try out how it works. We will set up a retail store, import our car from Hanover and see how it works. This means for Light Proton Corporation, set up a retail store, automobile outlet, 66. This is a very good location, I think. We will start slow. Only one purchasing unit. And what we see now is, when we look into the details and the breakdown of the freight costs, we see a very interesting aspect. We see here that the freight costs make up almost 37% of the price of the car. It's more than $2,600 to transport the car from Hanover to the retail store in Osaka. Very expensive. Very, very expensive. And this is normal for cars. Yeah, they need to be handled with care. Yeah, need to be well protected. It's not like raw material which can be just put on a cargo ship and shipped. Therefore, the transportation costs are high, and this will increase the costs per car which we sell and will decrease our margin, our profits, which is not good. And therefore, we will change that. Yeah, instead of simply shipping that from one city to another, we will start producing it in the same city where we sell it. So we will go here in Osaka. We'll go to next to a seaport. This one is almost in the city, so there's not a lot of space here, but this one is good. And we will set up car production factory. We'll reserve some space, set it up here. It's made of 3 input products, therefore we will use this layout as always. Obviously, we need wheels and tires, 4 of them. We need a car body. And we need an engine. All now shipped from Hanover to Osaka and then produced in this factory. Now we will see a surprise, I think. Let's check. Currently, the cost for a car is almost 10K. Yeah, 9,770. And when we produce it here, here's our car. We see that the costs are actually 11K. It's even more expensive now coming from our factory in Osaka. So the complete opposite of what we wanted to achieve. And we will find out why in a minute. We will still set up a warehouse. Reduce the price a little bit. Still set up a warehouse here. Like this. Input car. There's an error, I think. Yes, we set it up for the wrong company. We need to transfer to Light Proton now. This is possible. Here's our first car. Again, reduce the price. And now, though it's more expensive even, we will still link it. And the point is, what we see here already as last step, the freight costs now are much lower. Yeah, it's only 583 instead of 2,600 shipping it from Hannover. Instead, we now take it from Osaka. This makes sense. However, there's another issue. The same applies here, of course, for the input products. A car body, wheel and tires, and also an engine needs to be handled with care. Transporting those semi-products is very expensive. Yeah, we see here, for example, for wheel and tires, it's kind of okay, $400, though it's doubling the price actually. For the car body, it is not okay. It's more than $2,000, yeah, to transport it. It's more than double the price. And for the engine, also not okay. It's 3 times the price. And therefore, we need to also shift production of engine and car body here to Osaka. And this is what we also will do. We need to check whether we have still enough funding. Will be tight. I think we will need to borrow a little bit of money. Factory. Car body. Maybe here. A car body also is produced out of 3 input materials. It needs a lot of steel, a bit of plastic and a bit of glass. Here. Steel is a material which can be shipped quite easy, so the freight costs are not expensive. The same applies to glass and to plastic. This makes a car body. Here it is. Then we set up a warehouse. Also, this is wrong. We need to transfer the firm to Light Proton. This one is with Light Proton. Input, storage, output. Body. Where's our new factory? Here. Here it is. We will also reduce. Okay, it's fine. So now let's compare. What are our options? Link. Car body from warehouses. One option is to ship it from Hannover to Osaka. The other is to take it from our own factory. We see that the selling price in the warehouse in Osaka is quite high, quite higher than from the one in Hannover, because we need to transport the raw materials to Osaka, which also causes some costs. However, it's all made up by the freight costs. Yeah, we see here that freight costs are now only 127 instead of more than 2,000. So this is somehow overcompensated. So we will now switch to this one. And this should bring down the cost for the car. Yeah, we see that it decreases. Great. We did the first step. The electric car battery has been invented by us. We are the first ones on the market. We will soon look into that. Let's go here. And let's for now terminate R&D and decide how to proceed. We first want to fix in Osaka this production of the car. Yeah, I think this is better now. We will do the same with the engine in a minute, but as we are interested in electric cars too, let's go back. And first of all, as we have now, automobile, electric car, we have now the electric car battery technology. We can actually produce electric car batteries. We will do that, just to look into that, how it works. However, we still are waiting to invent the electric motor and find the technology. Therefore, we cannot move on with the electric car chassis right now. But for the electric car battery, we can start. An electric car battery needs as raw material lithium. Lithium has been added in version 11 and was not available in previous versions of Capitalism Lab. Lithium, can be mined by our subsidiary. It's not important that it's mined by our main corporation. However, the electric car battery will be produced as an electric car maker does it within the company. Let's first find a lithium source with a high rating. In Hannover, it's 84. This is already good. In Austin, 61. In Osaka, 81. In Shenzhen, it's 79. Or here, 77. Then let's go to Hannover, 84. The best. 5,200 tons. Yeah, this is good. We will leave this to Dark Proton. Natural resource firm, mine. Mining of lithium. 7 units and 2 sales units, things like that. This time we will not allow to sell it to competitors. We will have the exclusive rights, as the battery is a very important component of our car. We will not provide access to lithium, this high quality lithium, to our competitors. Having lithium, we can now produce a battery. Since we will have electric car production somewhere here, we will also set up the production here. And Light Proton Company needs money first. We will borrow money. Set up a factory. Here's a good place. We have only one input ingredient, so we'll use this layout with 5 manufacturing units, 2 purchasing units, and 2 sales units. Purchase unit. Produce electric car battery. Here it is. Reduce the price. And then establish a warehouse. Set it up here. Input, store, output. Actually, this does not make a lot of sense, as we cannot do anything with the electric car battery. However, I wanted to show to ourselves how it works and how an electric car battery is actually produced. Therefore, we will still let it be done. We have a storage unit here, so the factory can produce it, store it here, and whenever we are ready to produce the electric car finally, we can make use of that. Okay, let's return back to Osaka, where we improve the costs for production of our car. We have already now shifted production of the car body to Osaka, and the same will be done with the engine. So Light Proton needs to buy another factory. We'll set it up here this time. The engine is only made up of steel. So again, this layout. Here. Here's the engine. Also warehouse for the engine. Soon we'll need more factories producing engines. Therefore, we will always have a warehouse for each product. And then from current city, here it is. Reduce the price. What is acceptable? And now let's check again. Here. Engine. What are our options? We can either procure the engine from a warehouse in Hanover, which is cheaper. It's $1,000 cheaper. However, the freight costs are $2,000. In Osaka, it's $1,000 more expensive, but the freight costs are almost zero compared. Yeah, so we save 1,000 per piece. This makes sense. So we will switch from this and we will observe again how the costs are going down now for this car. See it now, it's jumping a little bit in the beginning. Yeah, it will be around 9,000, I think. This also means that we can decrease the price a little bit here. Ah, yeah, this is good. Now we are moving on. We are making progress with our electric car. We have the electric motor and the electric battery now. Very good. We will look into that in a minute. First of all, see. Yeah, we will leave it like that. This means we will have higher profits with selling the traditional car here in Osaka. Now we are here, the electric motor. This has been completed. We'll terminate R&D for now. We need to think how to set everything up in a minute. We will first set up production of the electric motor. The electric motor is a little bit different than a combustion engine. Let's check it out in the manufacturer's guide. The electric motor needs electronic components and steel. Not only steel, also electronic components. Makes sense, right? So we will also set up production here. Probably just simply next to the battery production. We need to inject more money from banks. Into Light Proton. Set up a factory. With 2 input materials. We'll choose this layout. Interlink all the units. We need electronic components. We have different options. Also, one of our competitors are producing it and selling it to us. But we will choose the C port as it's more reliable. And steel. This one from our own warehouse. We're producing the... okay. This does not make sense, of course. This was wrong. This is the correct way of doing it. Clear. Yeah, here's our electric motor. Let's decrease the price, set up another warehouse to store it. Actually, now we cannot do much with the electric motor. However, since we want to explore how it works, we already electric motor. Where is it? Here, we already produce it. Yeah, and store it in our warehouse, and later when we start producing electric cars, we can make use of that. Now we are in the good position to move on with inventing the technology of an electric car chassis, because the dependencies have been resolved. Electric car battery, electric motor technology has been invented by us. So now electric car chassis. We have 2 R&D centers with highly skilled team leads for semi-product technologies. So therefore we will choose one of them to invent the electric car chassis. Now we need to find them first. We will go to our firms. R&D center, light photon. Here are 2, utilization 0%. This one should be very good. Very high skills, very good. R&D new product, electric car chassis. Little bit more than half a year. And we have it. So for the other one, we will improve the technology of maybe electric motor or electric car battery. Electric car battery for 1 year. And then we need a new research and development center. Let's check where we find talents. For improving the technology of the electric car motor. New talents, semi-products. Yeah, I think it will be in Hanover. Set up an R&D center. Here. Let's see whether we can headhunt someone. No, this is not the case. Hire all. Start R&D, electric motor, 1 year. Yeah. So meanwhile, while still we cannot produce our electric car, we are already improving the production technology of their input products. Now everything is set up and we can simply continue with setting up selling cars in Osaka. We shifted the production to here. For the engine and the car body and wheel and tire. At the moment, the demand is quite high, so we can add more sales units. Again, here we see the big difference, yeah, of the freight costs. So we will take it from Osaka. Let's see how it develops. And of course, we will also do this with the motorcycle. Yeah, we can first sell it just simply by shipping it over from Hanover to Osaka. Motorcycle. We see freight costs are 1,300, not as much as for a car, but still significant. Yeah, Leia will take care. For the motorcycle, it's made of steel, engine, and wheel and tire. Wheel and tire we for now decided to leave in Hanover, and steel also. Yeah, because it's easy to transport and cheap to transport. However, the engine is here, so by producing a motorcycle here in Osaka, it can be cheaper. Of course, this always needs to be considered. Yeah, if we produce a certain product in only one location for all the cities, we have higher synergies and we utilize the production capacity more efficiently. Yeah, as if the demand goes down in one city, another one probably is going up and it's compensating each other and so on. This is not possible with such fragmented production. At the same time, freight costs, yeah, also hurt our profit margin, our profits. So therefore, this needs to be considered and balanced and evaluated. And in the end, it's how we decide our strategy looks like, right? We want to set up motorcycle production. We need wheels and tires. We need steel. And we need an engine. There it is. We will set up a warehouse here. Input, output, force cycle. Costs 5K. Let's check for the impact. From Hannover warehouse, it's cheaper, 1,000. So it's almost equal, yeah. We pay 1,000 more from the warehouse, approximately 1,000 more from the warehouse in Osaka. This is due to still wheel and tires are transported and steel and so on. And freight costs are 300. This is the difference, so it's similar. Yeah, probably need to optimize further. Yeah, Leah will take care of setting the right price. We need to optimize further. This means, for instance, I've just seen that steel, the moment we have problems to deliver enough steel to everywhere where it is needed. So what we could do, also set up steel production in Osaka. And this is what we will do. We will set up for Dark Proton, but this is not enough money. Financial actions, Dark Proton, probably this. Set up a factory. Let's set it up right here to produce steel with coal and iron ore. Coal. And iron ore. Ah, there's another supplier for iron ore. Our quality is better. And our price is better. Very good. Here's our steel. From Dark Proton. We will also set up a warehouse. Input, storage, output. Steel. This one. We will allow to sell it also to competitors. And now we need to switch. Let's investigate. Yeah, the steel in Osaka is a little bit more expensive, but the freight costs are significantly lower. Batch switching for all factories of light proton. No, this was not correct. Only switch for one city, right? So we need to go back to Hannover. And here, correct our error. Now everyone is procuring steel from the warehouse in Osaka, which we don't want, in Hannover. We want to link to the warehouse in Hanover, batch switching, but only for Hanover, factory like Proton. Now it's correct. Let's check. Demand is still high here. Yeah, it should be fine now. Thinking of setting up another steel factory. Probably it makes sense. Yeah. Here it is. One more input unit, one more output unit. Here from this new factory. So it should help to fix our bottleneck, which we just observed there. And here we have our own steel production, and this is now shipped. And this should help us to decrease our costs. We have now October, so still a few months to go until we need to distribute our own produced rubber from rubber plants in the farm to our wheel and tire factory. I want to check one thing, whether for Dark Proton we have not set up steel R&D yet. So this we'll fix very quickly. Go to our headquarters and find the location with the best talents. Yeah, this will be Austin. R&D, Dark Proton. This layout. Probably we can headhunt someone. No, this is not the case. Hire all. Start R&D for steel. So our steel will also improve in product quality in smaller steps, but doesn't matter. Okay, good. Return back to Osaka. Demand increases. Also here demand increases. Let's check in the store. Yeah, we can still not supply according to what is asked by the customers for. That's why we add more sales units for the car. Here, current city. And hopefully sell more and further increase our market share. For sure, Osaka compared to Hanover, we have a larger market. Yeah, we can sell with higher price, but we can also sell more because simply there's a higher population in Osaka. We see that also demand for motorcycles increases, so we'll be bold and also add other motorcycle sales units already to the layout here. Motorcycle on the car city. Good. Beginning of the next year, a lot of things will happen. We will now move back to Hanover and check whether everything is fine. We are selling cars and we are selling motorcycles. We captured almost all of the market. Yeah, we can sell more cars, definitely. We'll add another floor to only sell cars from Hanover. And what we see is that demand is higher than supply now. And this is why we will add another factory to produce cars. First, let's check. Yeah, all the input products are fine. Here it is. This is our new factory. This hopefully fixes our issue. This we don't have with motorcycles. Wheel and tires, car body is fine, steel is now fine. Engine is good. Engine also, yeah. From past experience of other sessions, we know that engine can also be a bottleneck. For now, it seems to be good. We're selling more cars. We now see that in Hanover, we have the highest brand rating with 100, 97 brand awareness, 8 brand loyalty already. Quality is 34, not so good, but this will improve very, very soon and quickly. And we have a good price, yeah, a good margin for cars. We look this in the overview here for products for our corporation. You see that the car has a profit margin of more than 40%. And the motorcycle, 50%. Also Dark Proton for all the products produced, also a good margin. Very good. We are in a good way. And we see since a couple of months we already are generating profits. We are earning money. Let's go to Osaka and check the situation. We have no further space, but we can still sell a lot more. Motorcycle and cars. First of all, I think, yeah, one factory is not enough. We need to duplicate this firm. And for the motorcycle, same applies. We first increase the production capacity. And then if still we cannot meet demand, we will add more sales units to our retail stores. R&D of car body is complete. This is great. This means that we will do a big step forward in our product quality for our cars. Very good. In Osaka, for sure, we can already now set up another retail store. We don't have enough money. We need to borrow money. This is not an issue. We are growing fast. The value of our company increases quickly, so therefore we have a good credit limit and we can borrow more money. Let's set up a retail store for Light Proton, automobile outlet. Where's space? 41, 54. Yeah, we will choose this one. And also 3 sales units for selling motorcycles. The motorcycle market is not as large as the car market. As large as the car market. If you want to check it for any product, you can do this simply by double clicking on the product and then you'll find the product details. And here the city total revenue for motorcycles is depicted. It's around 13 million. For cars in Osaka, the cars, it's 40 million. Yeah, much more. Yeah, also in quantity. This means not only in price, of course, cars are more expensive, but also in quantity. And check 2,100 are sold per month. And for the motorcycles, 1,700. Yeah, so significantly lower. Though the R&D project for engine is complete, we will ignore that and simply let them continue their work. Let's return back to Osaka. Yeah, the situation improves. Yeah, all of this is fine. For cars, probably we can add more. We are at the beginning of 2006. At the beginning of a year, it's always a good thing to pay ourselves a salary. We can do this in the headquarters. So far, we have not asked for any salary for our work, but now let's set the maximum 14 million. Our CEO already earns 15, our CMO 9 million. And the CEO of our subsidiary 19.5 million. Good. Let's continue. Let's also check the situation in Hannover for now. Yeah. This one is good. Where's our other store here? This one is also good. Yeah, I think we can just leave it like that. And we are soon reaching February. Then we remember what we want to do with rubber and rubber plants. In Osaka, this seems to be fixed, except for cars. So now we are in February. We will look into that in a minute after we check this. In Shenzhen, we remember that we set up a farm and now we have rubber available as this is harvested in February. We will store all of what is harvested in a warehouse, but first we need to borrow more money in our subsidiary. To input, to output, and a lot of storage units. And we need to link everything with each other. This way, input rubber, and another one rubber. There it is. And now we can link our one factory we have in Hanover for wheels and tires. This one, rubber, link. What are our options? We can either link to rubber from the seaport. It has quality 31 and selling price $1, 3 cents. Or we can link to our warehouse. It's a little bit more expensive, 1.3, but quality 60. Yeah. And this will impact our wheel and tires and their quality and impact the car in the end and the motorcycle. So therefore we will choose this one. And actually, though we're paying higher price, the margin which is behind it will go into the bank account of our subsidiary. So this is even good. Batch. Let's see if it works. Yeah, this works. So another step in vertical integration. Now let's go back to Osaka. We want to fix this. We have a shortage in engines, but I'm sure we also need another factory. So we will do both at the same time. Produce more engines. We always have to remember to also add output units. Because here we see, for example, for this output unit, the capacity, utilization of the capacity is almost 100%, 81%. And soon it will reach its limit, and then we need the second one, so why not add it now already? And add another car factory. Sometimes it can even make sense to add a third output unit. It depends. Sometimes with bulky goods it makes sense. However, so far for us it's fine how it is. Current city, this one. Okay. Good, everything else is fine. So we have research projects completing. So car is complete, great. And motorcycle is complete, also very good. So now our product rating should be much, much higher, and we can sell within higher price and still keep the market share. Very good situation. This should add to our revenue and our profits very quickly. Let's check our research project for the chassis. Go to corporate details, light proton, technology. Still 2 months until it's completed. So end of April it should be ready. Okay, so long we will further expand our business in the other cities. We are currently working on Osaka, and we have seen that we need to shift production also to Osaka, because otherwise the freight costs are too high for us. Motorcycle production an issue? Seems to be, right? Let's wait a little bit longer until we add another factory. And car production is an issue. It's improving. I think we can add another floor to sell cars. This might need one more factory. Well, we will observe. We'll come back. Yeah, this is not enough. Since Osaka is a bigger and larger city than Hanover, we can sell more, and this also means we need to produce more. Motorcycle. This one. Oh, there we are. This was fast. Beginning of April, we are already ready with the electric car chassis. Very good. So we can now, finally, after 1.5 years, we can go into the manufacturer's guide and now have resolved all the dependencies to invent the technology for electric car production. Therefore, we will first go to electric car chassis here, and we will terminate start R&D electric car chassis for 1 year. Greater tech advancement. And we will now set up another R&D center. Let's find the skilled researchers first. I think we will stay in Hanover. We'll set up an R&D center right here. The city is expanding, it seems. Set it here. No one to headhunt. Automobile, hire all. New product, electric car. Oh, only a few months. That's great. So we will soon be producing and selling electric cars. Great, great, great. This will be an interesting tipping point in the market. We will look into that. Only 5 months. And we can already start to produce the chassis. The chassis is electric car chassis is made of wheel and tire, electric motor, and electric car battery. We will do this right here. Factory. We need 3 input products. So we choose this layout, link it like that. We need wheels, obviously. We need the electric motor and the electric car battery. Here's the electric car chassis. It seems to be very expensive. Doesn't matter. Warehouse. Meanwhile, we produce it and store everything in the warehouse until we can produce the electric car, which is pretty soon. Electric car, or battery, chassis. We can already fill the storage as we have also this here. Good. We are getting closer to transform our corporation from a purely traditional car maker with combustion engine based vehicles to a corporation which also offers electric cars. Let's go back to Osaka and see. We are still not producing a sufficient quantity of cars, it seems. Let's observe a little bit what is happening here. Wheel and tire also gets probably soon gets an issue. We have 2 options. Either we also set up wheel and tire production here, which we will do in Osaka, or we add a new factory in Hanover. But I don't want to do that. We will set wheel and tire production in Osaka and save $400 of freight costs, which we will lose otherwise. Light proton, no, dark proton factory, wheel and tire. For purchasing units, 4 manufacturing units, and 1 sales unit. We need rubber, our own rubber. And we need steel, our own steel from the current city. There it is. And also set up a warehouse, which helps us distribute everything and store. We have a buffer for peaks in demand or whatever. Now let's check for the difference. This is needed in the car factories. Wheel and tire, link. What do we see here from the warehouse? So it's again much more expensive to buy it from a warehouse in Osaka. However, the freight costs Now it's the right view. Yeah, it's much more expensive. Actually, it's okay, but the freight costs are much cheaper. So we will batch switch for all light proton factories in Osaka. 6 firms updated. Why 6? Because 3 motorcycle firms and 3, no, a 4th one. Oh, someone put a mention right here next to our factories. Must be a beautiful place. Link. Current city. This one is our new car factory. Add another output unit. I think now it gets relevant. Right. Still, the core body is also an issue now. Need to add another car body factory. Now we will need to wait a little bit if this is already sufficient or not. Engine is fine, motorcycle is fine. Yeah, car is good too now. And we see now we have 3 output units and all of them have a very high utilization. So this means that actually we need them. For wheel and tires at the moment cannot produce enough. What is the reason? We don't know. We simply duplicate. Steel also gets tight. Tires here. But let's wait. Yeah, sometimes. That's good. We set ourselves in this scenario our own main goals. And we've actually reached our goals. We have an annual revenue of more than $1.5 billion. We have an operating profit of more than $300 million. We have a subsidiary with an annual revenue of minimum $300, and we have market dominance in the automobile industry. And that's great. We earn points for our score, which is not so relevant for today's session. However, a few more knowledge points and a corporate cash bonus. And this cash we can use to pay back our debt and therefore reduce the cost for interest rates. Get rewards now. Knowledge points means we can go to ourselves and spend the knowledge points. Actually, sometimes it's also possible to spend the knowledge points if it's activated in the script file to spend with our employed C-level employees. But this time we will use it for ourselves. We will further accelerate automobile R&D. Our current score is 880 points. I think it's okay. We want to stay and continue with the game. Wheel and tires recovering. Cars recovering. Steel. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, we are getting closer. That supply is enough for the demand. Very good. In Osaka. Let's now check now corporate details where we stand. Oh, only 1 month left, and then we have the electric car. Very good. Let's go to Hannover meanwhile. There we are. We are the first ones to invent it, and the first ones we produce it and sell it. And before we do that, we will quickly fix this one, that we have a 1 year research project. We see that a lot of higher tech advancements can be reached with 1 year R&D project instead of 2 times 6 months. And now we need to be a little bit careful and closely monitor what happens. And this will also be part of a session 2, part 2 of this, yeah. Because, and this is also new in version 11, because there will be a shift of demand. It's very slow though for electric cars, but there will be a demand shift from the car, the traditional combustion engine based car, to the electric car by 50% in the end. Yeah, this means that our traditional car market will be smaller, and instead we are selling electric cars. Therefore, probably we will shut down factories or something like that. So for now, let's start producing the electric car. And this is different. Only car body and electric car chassis. Where to put it? Probably here. Light proton. Let's play back that first. And this is fast, yeah. Repay for dark proton. Depth is okay. Let's inject. Capital injection. $100 million. So that also dark proton and pay back the debt. Where does the money come from? Partially from our profits and partially from achieving the main goal, which has a nice rewards. Now set up for light proton and factory. Set it up here to produce electric cars. We first need the electric car chassis, and then we need car body. Okay, we need to produce more car bodies, I see. And now the electric car is already produced. And the electric car is available. Great. We need to fix that. What is the problem? Problem is that we don't have enough production capacity. Input, output. Okay, good. And then also warehouse for electric cars. Input, storage, output. Here it is. Let's lower the price a little bit. Not really cheap one. Okay, and now let's distribute it to one of our stores. I think this one has still some space. Yes, add another floor. Let's see how good it sells. For a new technology, the starting point, the start of selling it is a little bit different. Because we will see this now, because we are the only ones and we are the first mover for electric cars. There is no competition. Yeah, it's just us offering this. So for now, we will set any price and hopefully customers will start to buy it. It takes a few days usually until the first product is sold, as people must get aware. Still nothing sold. Okay, we need to check back again later. Electric car battery is good. Okay, good. And electric car motor, also good. So it seems that we are not selling yet electric cars, not even a single one. There's no demand for now. Probably it takes time. What we can try to do is to, for now, for this store, manage now this firm, manage by ourselves and set a cheaper price. Or simply people are hesitant in year 2006 to buy an electric car in Hanover. Probably. Yeah, this does not solve the problem. We need to wait for our first customers to come to our store and buy an electric car. Now it's happening. Now it's happening. Yes, now suddenly. And we own, of course, the full market. And there's no competition. Very good. Great situation for us.